everyone, this is Heather and I am here today with another card making tutorial for you. Today I'm going to show you how to make this adorable spinner card with a little elephant. When the recipient opens it, the elephant spins around inside. Isn't that fun? So I'm using a lot of the same supplies that I used for another video that I did recently, and that's my lion front and back card, which looks like that, and I will link in the description down below the tutorial for that. And we're going to be using some products from the Stampin Up catalog for 2017, and we're going to be using the a little wild stamp set, and we're going to be using the elephant and the flower and some of the words, and we're also going to be using the coordinating die set that is Little Love's Framelits dies, as well as some paper from the Whole Lotta Lovely. This is the back side actually of the paper that we used on the lion card. So you're also going to need some gray cardstock, some twine or embroidery floss, baker's twine, string, fiber, something like that. You're going to need regular adhesive, just like a tape runner, just plain Scotch tape, some foam tape, a couple of colored pencils. I'm using Prismacolor. Those are my favorite pencils for coloring. I'm just using kind of a pale pink and a green, scissors, and some black ink. I just like Memento, so that's what we're using today. So again, this is the card, and the layout is very similar to the lion card, but I will go ahead and run through all the directions again. So I've just taken a 8.5 by 11 piece of just standard cardstock, cut it and scored and folded it in half, and now I'm going to put adhesive on the pattern paper just along the edges. We don't want any adhesive in the center. So make a little bit of room here. And so I'm just going to line that up, and this paper was cut to 4 and 5 1/4 so that I have a little bit of a border around the edge. And now we're going to open up the card. This is very important so that we're not cutting through all 3 layers. We're just going to be cutting through the pattern paper in the front layer of the card. And now we're going to take a stitched circle die from the Stitched Circle frame, or I'm sorry, Stitched Shapes Framelits dies, again from Stampin Up. And we're going to take a little bit of just repositionable adhesive. You could use washi tape, any kind of a low tack tape will work. And we're just going to kind of figure out where we want that circle to be and tape it in place so that it doesn't slip. So I've brought over my Sizzix Big Shot machine, and I have layered the card with the die on the plate, and I'm running it through. Sorry, it's going to shake the table a little bit. And kind of running it back through. We're cutting through a couple of layers of paper, so I just want to make sure that we get a good cut. Let's set that off to the side. And now we'll take our card out. So you want to carefully remove that tape. This is a good reason to use not a very sticky tape so that you're not going to tear your paper. And we don't need this, so we can, the gray cardstock that got cut, so you can just set it aside and use it on another project. But we do want to save the circle that we cut. Let me get my plate out of the way here. So now we've got the hole cut in the front, and we're going to add some adhesive to the back of that circle that we just die cut. And if you close the front of your card and see if you can figure out how to Yeah, that wasn't too bad. Sometimes you got to move it around a little bit. We're just going to figure out, just to kind of line it up, just to make it look a little bit better with the pattern that's already there, and press that down so now that is adhered on the inside of your card. So that just gives it a little bit more of a background than just a plain gray opening. Set that off to the side for a second. And then I have already pre-die cut, stitched shapes die cut the smallest square. And I'm going to take my ink pad, and we're using the word stamp that goes along with the elephant. Ink that up and stamp that in the middle. And it says, "A great big welcome for a sweet little someone." We can put that off to the side. And now I'm taking just a part of another of the same gray cardstock that we used for the card base, and I'm going to ink up the elephant. And sometimes with a larger stamp, I find it's easier to put the stamp face down and ink it up. That way you make sure you got a lot of ink on there. So we're going to stamp the elephant out. Doesn't really matter where because we're going to die cut it, so it doesn't need to be lined up. And then we're going to take the flower. Same thing, just stamp that out. That looks pretty good. And now just to add a little bit of color, I'm using my colored pencils, and I'm going to color in the inside of the ears of the elephant in this kind of pale pink color. And then also some nice little blushing on the cheeks. And then also the petals of the flower. And obviously you could add a lot more color and detail to this. I just wanted to be kind of quick and easy. So I've just added a little bit of pink. And then with the green, I'm just going to color in the center of the flower and the leaves, like so. And now we're going to take the coordinating die cuts, and these normally make a tag that you fold over, but we're actually going to cut off the little circle. And so you just want to line your die up and use a little bit more of the tape, and I'll sometimes use the same piece of tape over and over again until it's just not very sticky anymore. So get that kind of lined up, and make sure you tape it in at least 2 places just so that die doesn't shift on you. And then same thing with the little flower die. Get that lined up in there. Tape that down, and again I'm gonna bring over my Big Shot and put that in my plate. And I use a Genesis plate for mine just because I like the magnetic aspect of it, but you can use the plates that come with the Sizzix, but just in case you're wondering what I'm using here. So run that through, and again I'm running it back through just to make sure that everything gets die cut properly. Get out of our way. And so now I've got the little elephant and the flower that are die cut. Get that out of our way. So there's that teeny little flower, much easier than cutting it out by hand. And now we're going to fold the elephant over as if we were going to make a tag, and just kind of score that over. So you could use it like this, just put some ribbon through there and put the words on the inside and you've got an adorable tag. But for today's purposes, we're actually going to cut off that little loop there at the top. So it looks like that. And next you're going to need just a teeny little sliver of foam tape. So I'm cutting just the smallest little bit off there, and I'm putting that on the back of the flower. And then I'm putting that in the elephant's trunk so it looks like he's holding the flower. Like that. Isn't that cute where he's holding a little flower? And now we're going to take our, I'm using embroidery floss just because I had some pink that kind of matched the color of my card. But like I said, you could use baker's twine, anything that you've got available. And so I've opened up the tag and kind of centering that thread right down the middle of the elephant, which is kind of easy because you've got like the legs and everything. I'm just using just regular Scotch tape to tape that embroidery floss down, and you want to make sure that it's adhered really well like that. And then we're going to take our adhesive and close this shut. Again, make sure you've got plenty of adhesive so that the string doesn't pull out and this doesn't come apart. So we're just gonna line those up so it looks like that. And then I'm gonna take a little bit more foam tape and put the words on the front of our card. That down just to give it a little bit more dimension. I didn't stamp that very straightly, but at home, take your time and straighten that up. So we're going to adhere that. Then we're going to open up our card and we're going to lay our elephant in the center of the circle, and I did it face down. And then we're going to stretch that string up so it's kind of taut, and put a little bit more Scotch tape across the top. And actually this might, you know what, I'm gonna cut this down a little bit thinner. When I first made this, I had some skinnier tape, so you'll see why in just a second. So I'm gonna pull that kind of taut up there, put a piece of Scotch tape across the top, and pull it taut at the bottom and put a little piece of tape across the bottom. So I've got some Scotch tape here and some Scotch tape here. And again, make sure that that's adhered down really well. Now I'm going to take my scissors, and at the top of that tape and the bottom of the tape, I'm going to trim off the excess. And if I didn't say, I don't think I did, that I used about 5 inches. It's going to depend on the size of your circle. If you have a different size circle, you know, so just measure and give yourself a little bit of extra room to work with. So now I've got just a couple of the pieces of cardstock that are in the exact same color as the card itself so that it kind of blends in. I'm doing 2 inches by 3/4 of an inch. As long as it covers up your tape, it doesn't matter. So just a couple little scraps. Again, put a lot of adhesive on there just so that string doesn't slip, and you just want to cover up the tape. Press that down really well. Lots of adhesive on this one. And cover up that tape just so that it kind of blends in to the inside of your card. So it looks like that. So then here's the trick to the spinner. You want to load, I guess so to speak, the image before you close the card and put it in the envelope. So all you do is simply twist it around. Make sure that he's facing front before you close the card, and then you're just going to slip it like normal on the envelope, and so then when they open it, it will spin. And then while it's sitting around on their desk, they can play around with it and have it spinning. And so I just think this is a really cute card, perfect for a baby card and the color and the words that I did. But if somebody loves elephants, you could switch the sentiment out to a birthday card or love you a ton for an anniversary card. There's lots of cute sentiments out there that you could use. So quick, easy, fun. Again, using some of the new products from the Stampin' Up! 2017 catalog. I really appreciate you joining me today, and I hope that you give this card a try. Check out my channel. I'm just getting started, but I've got a couple of other videos up, and so thank you so much for joining me today. This is Heather. Have a great day. Bye.